What up, YouTube? It's Rules for Rebels here. I apologize for the interesting camera angle today. My cell phone window mount isn't wanting to stick, so that's why we got that. But I got kind of an interesting statistic for you guys. Did you know that making $130,000 can put you in the top 1%? Kind of crazy, right? Now, when I think about the one percenters, I think about Wall Street bankers, I think about railroad barons, I think about Bill Gates, I think about George Soros, I think of an old man smoking a cigar wearing a monocle, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I think about as a 1%, people who are making millions or tens of millions of dollars a year. But earning as little as $135,000 a year, which, don't get me wrong, I don't mean to say as little as, that's a good chunk of money, but in the grand scheme of things, I typically don't think of that as being the 1%. The caveat to this, or the catch, is if you are under 33 years old, making $135,000 a year puts you in the top 1 percentile of your peers. So people your age, you're in the top 1% if you're making $135K and you're under 33 years old. Here's another interesting statistic, is between the ages of, I think it's 35 and 40, in order to remain in the 1%, you need to up your income by $80,000. So if you're making, 130, you now need to be making 210 to be in the 1%. And I believe from 40 to 45, you need to up your, it might be 55, you need to up your income another $70,000 to remain in the 1%. So I believe typically the 1%, depending on whose statistics you go off of, somewhere between like $435,000 and $551,000 to be considered the 1%. Now, obviously, there's a lot of the 1% who makes substantially more than that. But I thought it was interesting that if you're under the age of 33 and you're making $135K a year, you're in the 1%. But to remain in the 1%, and the 1% turns over, like a third of it, if not a half of it, turns over every single year pretty much. But to remain in that 1%, 5 years after being 33, you need to grow your income by $80,000. And then in the next 5 or 10 years, you need to again grow your income by another $70,000 to remain in that 1%. So what's the point of all this, right? Why does this matter? Who really cares what percentile you're in? Well, here's why it matters, and here's where I'm going to kind of bring it home, is I get a lot of messages from people saying, hey, I want to make $10,000 a month, or I want to make $20,000 a month. Now, let's think about this. If you're making $10,000 a month, that's $120,000 a year, pretty close to that 1% mark, right? So, we'll say you're a 1%er if you're making $10,000 a month and you're under 33 years of age, which I know a lot of my audience is I get messages from people who are just out of high school, I get messages from people in college, people just starting out their job, as well as people who are a little bit older and more established in their careers and lives and everything else. But I know a lot of my audience is probably like 21 to 35. So you guys, if you're making $10,000 a month, which is your goal, that puts you in the 1%. Can you honestly say that you're working harder than 99% of your peers? Can you say that you're smarter than 99% of your peers? Can you say that you're more of a risk taker than 99% of your peers? If you can't answer yes to all these questions, in my opinion, you really can't expect to make 100. Are you more? One more thing I should add to that. Are you more perseverant than 99% of your peers? Because it doesn't all come down to. Sorry, I guess I had to grab my coffee there. But the one thing I wanted to add was like perseverance and just powering through and not giving up and having a positive attitude. If you're not better than 99% of your peers in all those elements, don't expect to make more money than all your peers. Entrepreneurship isn't all about being the smartest guy in the room or having the most skills. I don't know if I can boil it down to a percentage. Like 70% of being an entrepreneur is just self-starting, taking action, and not giving up. But it really is a heavy percentage. I know a lot of really smart people with a lot of really good ideas who never really succeed or have success with their ideas, either because they have all these ideas and they never actually take action and do anything about them, or on the flip side, some people are just so used to having success in everything they do. And entrepreneurship it's full of failures. You're going to fail a lot. If you succeed, 10% as much as you fail, you're probably going to be a success being an entrepreneur. But it's just about sticking with it. Even when you feel defeated, you got to get up and keep working and figure out how to make things work. This isn't a job. There's nobody to turn to and be like, hey, Bill, I got to go to my boss. Bill, please help me. I can't figure out how to you got to figure it out yourself. So my point here is, if you expect to earn an income that's in line with the 1 percentile of your peer group, you better also be willing to outwork 99% of your peer group, to be more of a self-starter than 99% of your peer group, to be more of a risk taker than 99% of your peer group. And I know I said smarter at first. I don't think you necessarily have to be smarter, but are you willing to do what it takes to outperform 99% of your peer group? Because making technically it's 135,000, but I mean, essentially making $10,000 a month, which seems to be a number a lot of you guys shoot for, you do need to be in the upper 99th percentile of your peer group. And if you're not doing what it takes to be there, you know, don't expect to make the money that it takes to get there. So hopefully this video came across as motivational, as opposed to like, you can't do this or anything like that. But I just kind of wanted to give everyone a reality check. And you know, everyone likes to throw out that number, $10,000 a month, and it's really not quite as easy as it sounds. So if you guys have any questions, comments, anything like that, leave them in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, and we'll catch you on the next video. Thanks, guys.